everyone. Hey, we thank you for joining the Reidox4life podcast. And today our topic is how service providers are making a difference in their community. And our special guest today is the one and only Dr. Steve Tullius.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Dr. Steve, our viewers, I'm sure, would love to know who Dr. Steve is and what inspired you to venture into the career path that you're in.
Yeah, so I'm a pediatric and family chiropractor. From a young age of probably 8 years old or so, I knew I wanted to be a doctor to help people heal. But I thought that meant going into medicine, being a medical doctor. And so that was the path I was on. I played sports, football, and was a power lifter in high school and after in college. And my brother started seeing a chiropractor when he was 15, or he was probably 16 or so. And he had a football injury and that led him to the chiropractor. And my brother was older than me, so I wanted to do what he was doing. And that I actually asked my mom to take me to the chiropractor. I told her I was having back pain, which I wasn't really. I just wanted to experience this thing. And I had my first adjustment, and it released all this tension and pressure that I didn't even know was there. Right? I was walking, which a lot of people are walking around with all this as their normal. But it wasn't until I had a shoulder injury playing college football that everything, my path changed. I went to an orthopedic doctor who, he didn't touch me. He do any orthopedic tests. He did an MRI that really didn't show much. And his next solution was to cut my shoulder open to take a look inside. And that was just such a foreign concept to me. It made no sense from my, just in general. And then from my experience with the chiropractor, it was so different. It was in that moment that I knew that I was born to be a chiropractor. And I feel that way to this day. So that's how it all started.
Wow.
Excellent. That's nice, man. I love that story, Steve. Man, so a college injury, led you to pursue chiropractic, health. By electing not having surgery, how long was the healing process? From the injury to seeing the chiropractor to where you felt, good enough, you can get back out there and perform again?
I was actually referred to the orthopedic doctor by my chiropractor. He said, because, his shoulders weren't really his main area of expertise. And because I was a high level performance athlete, he just thought it'd be a good idea. So at the end of the day, it was something that probably really didn't even need, a whole lot of extra stuff. I look at it as it was a purposeful moment in my life to show me the difference between the two systems. And so my shoulder, I'd say, was better within a few months after. I kept going to the chiropractor, but and doing some physical rehab on it. But yeah, I think it was just there to really help direct me in the right direction.
Chiropractor became your best friend.
Yeah, it's I just got off a call with my team, and it's not a career, it's a mission and passion. I'm compelled to educate and help as many people as possible understand what chiropractic actually is, and so that the world has access to it. And so I couldn't stop if I wanted to.
Excellent. Love that.
Yeah. God leads you to where he wants us to be, right? And so the fact that you got that journey early in life and just followed it and just knew in your heart where God has led you up until this point is just so phenomenal to me. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. It gives me chills. I was absolutely blessed to know from a young age, right? I know a lot of people struggle with that. It's also an area of practice where I really focused a lot too, is not only helping people heal, but also discover their gifts, through mentorship. My chiropractor was pivotal in that regard too. I had such a strong role model to look up to, and he never pushed me towards chiropractic. Yet it was such a logical choice. Watching him and how he was mentoring and serving people in that capacity as well.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. So, Dr. Steve, what are the biggest challenges in your line of duty?
The biggest challenges is educating the public, right? Is reframing the conversation for the public, because chiropractic has been violently attacked since our beginnings. Over 700 chiropractors went to jail in the early years of chiropractic, simply for trying to help people, and they were jailed. They were attacked by the American Medical Association. That all actually, there was a secret group inside that organization, which was putting out misinformation, and some of that misinformation continues to this day. They had ghostwriters. They were telling their members that they couldn't interact with chiropractors, that chiropractic was a cult, unscientific, that we're quacks. And so that actually came out in a U.S. Supreme Court case in the 80s, when they were found guilty of antitrust violations, trying to monopolize healthcare. So we deal with a public who, and we don't deal with it as much as we used to, because of the internet's allowed people to actually get online to research themselves, to make their own decisions. And so those types of thoughts are more and more distant. However, we do deal with misperceptions about what chiropractic is. Most people, if they think chiropractic is beneficial, they think it's good primarily for neck pain and back pain, for musculoskeletal stuff, when in reality it's so much more. In fact, my practices, we don't see a whole lot of people with complaints of back pain or neck pain. We see kids with ADHD, autism, epilepsy, people with anxiety, depression, chronic illness. That's what our profession used to always help people with, but then we got sidetracked along the way due to some of the challenges I just mentioned, and also through insurance reimbursement. Insurance primarily only reimburses for musculoskeletal, neck pain, back problems. So a lot of chiropractors put themselves in that box as well.
Excellent. Well said. Oh, well said. So I know, but it's great to hear the story of how how chiropractic got its bad reputation or bad name, and but it's good to know that someone caused it. It's not nothing that any doctor has done, any chiropractor has done to create that stigma. But I'm glad to see it turn around, and moving in the right direction, and and taking it to a place where it should have been a long time ago.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that the one of the primary drivers of it moving in the right direction now, and it's unfortunate, but it's the fact that so many kids are suffering in this country and others. 43% of kids in the United States have one of 20 chronic health conditions, right? That's just an outrageous number. And when we include obesity and neurodevelopmental disorders, that goes up to 54%. And that's an older statistic, right? That's, so because of that, we have parents who are seeking options and answers, right? And they're not finding it in the traditional systems. That if we had more and more answers in the other system, then we wouldn't have such outrageous numbers. So because of that, parents are seeking chiropractic out, and they're getting phenomenal results. And the thing about it is when a parent tells their neighbor that I'm taking Johnny to the chiropractor, the neighbor's natural response is, well, what, does Johnny have a back problem? It's like, no, Johnny has ADHD, or Johnny was having seizures, or it totally flips the conversation, takes it out of neck pain and back pain, and starts to put it into the proper realm, which is the brain and nervous system, and understanding that as chiropractors, we're removing interference and stress to the nervous system, which is the most foundational part of our anatomy. So that's how it's starting to shift right now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so okay, as far as natural health care, so chiropractic is considered naturopathic health medicine.
We are definitely in a natural health model for sure. Chiropractors can, in many states, they can do lots of different types of care that are inside the scope of other professions too. Like some will do things like physical therapy, or a lot will prescribe vitamins and things like that, supplementation. But the one thing that we do, the most unique thing that no one else does is we address what's known as the vertebral subluxation, which is a misalignment of the spine, which by the nature of the spine, our spine is there to house and protect our most delicate organ system, our central nervous system, our brain and spinal cord. And when there's stress and tension or misalignments in that spinal column along the spinal structure, then that's necessarily going to interfere with those messages traveling over and through that system. And so our greatest value to humanity really lies in releasing that stress and tension, allowing for the body to do what it's designed to do, which is heal, grow, and thrive. But it can't do that if there's interferences in those life-giving messages traveling over and through that spinal cord. So that's the piece that society really needs to understand in terms of what we do. Because number one, anyone with a health challenge should be seeking out chiropractic care, because if they haven't had their nervous system and their spine evaluated, then that could be a significant contributor to their problem. But number two, and this is the reason why I've checked my son since the moment he was born, I checked him within hours after his birth, is I want, as a parent, I want my child to have optimal health and function and potential his entire life. Right. And so, but if there's stress in his nervous system, that means he's never fully operating at his fullest potential. And so I believe that every parent and every person deserves that opportunity and right to access care that would give them the ability to live life, and express their fullest gifts through a healthy, functioning nervous system.
Well said. Love
Yes. So viewers out there, if you did not hear what Dr. Steve said, he said that chiropractic subluxation assists the body's own natural ability to heal itself.
Yeah, that's what it does. I mean, it's so simple. One of the questions I ask everybody, I do talks. I've given over 300 public lectures in the last 10 years. And one of the questions I always ask people, I say, I preface it and say, I have this really crazy belief. As a chiropractor, I have this wild belief that you're actually designed to be healthy and not sick, to be happy and not sad, right? That's my core belief, that's our natural state, that's our birthright. However, we've been indoctrinated and told that sickness is our natural state, and we should fear germs and we should fear all these things outside of us, when we have within us everything we need between what's inside and what's on the outside. We have everything we need to thrive. You don't see animals struggling for survival, except for when there's predatory competition. Yes, but the animals that are getting sick are the ones that are in captivity. Yes, animals get sick out in the wild as well, but you don't see them struggling as much as humanity is right now. And so when I ask people, I say, how many of you share this same belief system, this crazy belief that you're designed to be healthy and not sick? Everybody raises their hands, but we don't act in congruence with that belief. That's the challenge, is that people believe it. They even go to church on Sundays and they really believe it there, but then they don't act in that manner when it comes to when they have a health challenge, because they go to a traditional system that unfortunately the primary solution is to mask or push the symptoms down, and not to actually allow the body and assist the body to actually heal anything.
Excellent. Well said. Okay, so Dr. Steve, tell us. Okay, so what does the future of chiropractic, care look like? In the next, 3 to 5 years, you see it going past, and doubling, tripling where it is now?
Not in the next 3 to 5 years, but I do see it on an upward trend in terms of utilization and people coming, understanding this more and more. I have a marketing company that, the only reason I created a marketing company is it has to do with my need to get this out to the world. So my belief is that this will eventually, be mainstream, right? And that every man, woman, child, every part of the country, not only country, but the world will at least have access to chiropractic care. That may not happen in my lifetime, and I'm okay with that. But I will be consistently working towards it. I'd say within 15 years, we'll see a lot more people. 5 to 15 years, we're going to see a lot more people, a lot more families. The trend is not less kids getting sick. The trend, unfortunately, is more and more children getting sick and the population getting sick. So I think it's going to keep reaching a breaking point where people are fed up and looking for other solutions.
I love chiropractic services. My main thing, the one main thing I like about going to chiropractic, I'm only 5'7". Okay, so but when I walk out of the chiropractic office, I am 5'7.5".
Right. That's that's like when I had my first adjustment, I felt like I was floating out, right? I know a lot of people are might be concerned or worried about if they've never had an adjustment before, but there's so many different techniques and styles of chiropractic too. There's techniques that don't involve any twisting or popping, that using a little light instrument to provide a gentle vibratory force into the body. Super, and especially with kids, it's so gentle. We're talking about using the force you'd use to test the ripeness of a tomato, right? It's an exceedingly safe. Chiropractic, of all the healthcare providers, we have the lowest malpractice insurance of any healthcare provider. And that's because insurance, as we all know, the cost of insurance is based upon risk. And chiropractic is exceedingly safe compared to every other healthcare modality out there. And so I know people have concerns, people see videos on YouTube, TikTok, and things like that they're really amplifying the sound of the adjustment and things. So some people are really scared, and it's unfortunate because, as you mentioned, it just feels good.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yes. So what are the highlights of your career?
Highlights of my career involve I've testified in front of the U.S. Department of Education twice regarding chiropractic education. I was the director of Autism One, a pediatric chiropractic continuing education program. I've spoken in I think somewhere around 8 countries, on chiropractic, to both professionally, to my colleagues, and also to some places to the public. But I'd say the highlight is really in all those people that I've been able to be blessed to be part of their lives, trusting me to provide care to their children and families, and then to see the miraculous transformations. I think of one child in particular. His name was Liam, who he was having 60 seizures a day. I did a talk at the San Diego Epilepsy Foundation, and his mom decided to bring him in. And within 4 weeks, he was seizure free. Right, his seizures started to go down, within the first few visits, and 4 weeks seizure free. He went on vacation for a week. It was out of town. He had 1 seizure, came back, and he's not had a seizure since. And this is now 7 years seizure free. And this is when they were being told that he'd always be on medication. His MRI and EEGs would never be normal, right? So chiropractic is about number one, we never put any limitations on anybody. We don't diagnose. Like when he came to me, I wasn't looking at him as a condition or accepting that seizures are just a natural part of his existence, right? I believe the body can heal anything and everything given the right circumstances. And it's not for me to judge that. Like, how could I possibly know? My job's real simple. I look for interference in that nervous system, find it, and correct it. And when that happens, the body does miraculous things. That's the way it's designed. So that's really the highlight of my career is being having the opportunity to provide that those options to people.
Excellent. Well said. Thank you, Dr. Steve Tullius, chiropractor and owner at Center for Health and Human Potential, and also the CEO at Waitlist Workshop, where he is providing a great service and a great work also to marketing and, and just education, and educational, information and teaching everybody on chiropractic service and things like that. Thank you, Dr. Steve. Oh, Steve, how can we get a hold of you for your services?
Yeah, so people can find us, the Center for Health and Human Potential. We have 2 locations in San Diego, and we're getting ready to start a series of clinics here in Texas. The goal is eventually have these, throughout every state and country as well. However, if you can't make it to San Diego, then we please contact through our Facebook page or our Instagram, and ask us for a referral. There's definitely differences in chiropractic approaches. There's those that focus more on, like, say, sports injuries or work injuries or auto injuries, things like that. Those offices provide a very needed and necessary service. However, it's very different than the type of care that I just described today. So contact our office, and we'd be happy to find a referral for you in your area, because we have a large network of providers that we could find for you.
Nice.
Thank you. Very, very nice, Steve. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there you heard it from Dr. Steve Tullius. He is here to service and provide services for everyone. So thank you, Dr. Steve, for sharing your story with Reidox4life podcast. I'm Levi, and this is Lamika. Thank you once again. We definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It was a fantastic time sharing with you, and look forward to another time in the future.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
Bye-bye.